Well, good day, everybody. I'm Russ and I'm the Executive Director of the National Center for the Biotechnology Workforce, located here at Forsyth Technical Community College in downtown Winston-Salem in the Innovation Quarter. And I'm delighted today because we have our skilled media technician, Sean Killebrew, back. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Doing well, Russ. Always glad to be here.
Sean, I'm extremely excited today because we have Jennifer Coulombe, and Jennifer Coulombe is our VP of Industry Partnerships and Continuous Innovation. Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
Hi, I'm well. Good to see everybody.
Now, full disclaimer, Jennifer's my boss. So this is going to be a great interview. I'm very excited to do it. We've been talking about it for 3 or 4 weeks now. So Jennifer, welcome to SciTech. Can you briefly tell us a little bit about your time here at Forsyth Technical Community College?
Sure. I've been here for about 15 years. I came in from as a director of corporate education, primarily serving businesses in a contract training perspective. And then I moved into a dean role, taking on a lot more economic development and a lot more workforce development responsibility. And, loving every minute of it. And of course, that just evolves into expansion of the impact that we have as I've moved into other roles and ultimately landing here as vice president, overseeing what we call the E to B team, education to business. And I typically tell folks in my 30-second elevator pitch that it's anything that connects industry or business to students or anything that connects industry or business to the college. So services that we provide to businesses, but also the talent pipeline that we're providing to business as well.
Excellent, Jennifer. Can you tell us a little bit about the continuous innovation side of your title?
Sure. So, we work very, very closely with a lot of industry that works on a continuous improvement or process improvement mentality and philosophy. And we were in a scenario in which we were straddling the line between education and industry. And industry, has to move quickly because they have, certain expectations. As education has typically moved a little more slowly. So it's been very fortunate that we've been able to bring in that spirit of innovation and continuous improvement that we touch businesses with. My previous life was in process improvement, and so I say I'm a recovering Six Sigma black belt, and that it's part of the fabric of who I am in terms of looking at the data and showing us how we have opportunity for improvement. So here in the college, we have taken on what I consider to be, a really bold move and a pretty brave and courageous stance to have a focused effort on really sweeping change from a process perspective to make things easier for our clients. And what is a client? It can be the person in the next cubicle or office next to you. It can be a student. It can be a business. Whoever is a recipient of some of your work product. And what can we do to make things more error-proof, things more easy to execute, so that we just simplify process so that it is effective and efficient and not there are no bottlenecks in the process. And so, makes it so that folks want to do business with us, and makes it so that my department is someone that folks want to do business within the college. So continuous improvement is really about taking a look at what can we do better at any point in the process. And it's not necessarily about making big sweeping changes. It's about small changes that add up over time. The primary responsibility lies at the level of what we think of as an operator. The folks who are engaging in the process know it better than anyone. And that's where the real value lies, is working with the folks who know that process to say, what do you think would make this easier for your client or for the next user in the process? And what would make it easier for you? So again, kind of trying to weave that not as a continuous improvement department that's siloed away from others, but really more of a part of the culture and a part of the way in which we work, so that we're empowering the folks who do the work, but who also influence the work, to make changes when they see that there's a need or an opportunity for improvement.
I really like your explanation of continuous improvement. And I'm going to turn it over to Sean. Sean, you've got a question for Jennifer?
I do indeed. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. Can you give us an example of industry partnerships that you consider invaluable to our college?
Sure. Well, a really obvious example that a lot of folks are familiar with is the concept of the advisory board, which is now transitioning into what we call a BILT, a business and industry leadership team. And the primary difference between the two is that a BILT is led by industry, an advisory board is informed by industry. So we're in most of our programs in the college have that kind of relationship. If I'm creating a talent pipeline of students to go into a certain sector, I want to make sure that I'm upskilling them so that they're work ready the minute they step into that office or onto that shop floor or wherever they're going to be executing. And we want the input of those ultimate end users of our talent pipeline. So we get the input and the participation from our local business and industry leaders for each sector. And, they give us their time and their expertise and help us to identify the knowledge, skills, and abilities that our students need to be successful in their labs or in their shops. But we also get the input and the partnership between them. They recognize that there may be expertise gaps that exist, and they're helping us to fill those in. There may be equipment gaps, and oftentimes they help us to fill those in. So again, the partnerships that we have, and I don't think this is unique to Forsyth Tech, but that the community college system is known for having, is advisory board and the built relationship so that we can be nimble and responsive to the needs of our community, primarily from my perspective, the business and industry community. But we have a number of other key partnerships that help to support the college in terms of how they support our foundation, and that helps to provide scholarship for our students. But the biggest one that I work with most closely is around advisory board and builds, helping to recruit key industry partners for their input and their partnership with our college.
It sounds like that's probably a pretty big benefit to our students. Is there something that stands out with your industry partnerships that is exceptionally beneficial to students here at SciTech?
Well, for sure, what's gotten a lot of attention and what is really what's really in the top of mind for a lot of folks right now across the state and nationally is the apprenticeship model. And that's really helping us to knock down barriers for our students, of course, in terms of cost, in terms of opportunity and introduction to business, but it's also creating great opportunity for the business to identify talent early in the pipeline so that they're creating relationships and pulling them through while also influencing their understanding of the work that needs to be done, the competencies. So it really is such a lovely scenario. The way we have LEAP set up at Forsyth Tech is currently we have funding from the Duke Energy Grant, and of course from other opportunities within the college, so that our LEAP participants, our LEAP students, are actually going, their tuition, fees, and books are covered. So of course, that is a lovely benefit for any student. And beyond that, they're graduating debt-free. They're graduating with a portable credential of a Journey Worker card. And then they're, of course, graduating with a great, very sustainable, family sustainable living wage. So that really is one of those things that sets us apart in terms of some really amazing ways in which we're serving students. And there are some sectors that are more heavily involved in apprenticeship right now because I think they had the foresight to see that there was going to be a talent crisis coming, and so they got involved with us very early. And there are others who are just now kind of coming to the table as they're seeing apprenticeship and the success that it's generating in the talent pipeline, and of course ultimately as these students land in labs and shops and offices across our region.
You spoke earlier about continuously improving. Why is that such a vital piece of the current workplace?
Well, I think the simple answer is that the rate of change has just outpaced anything that we have experienced before, and we know that it will continue to change. a number of factors go into that. Many people are afraid that we're not that AI is going to take over our jobs. The reality is that we don't demographically have enough people even to replace the work that's being done. So there is a place for AI in the workplace. And I do think, so I'll pin that. But continuous improvement helps us to identify places where there is what I would say non-value added work and value added work. And we know that work is more enriching when I know that the work that I'm doing is value added. When I've identified something that I'm doing that is non-value added, it does not contribute to my enrichment and enjoying the work and it aligning with my purpose. So that's one great thing about continuous improvement is it helps to pull out the non-value added work and making sure that it is enriching the work that that individual is doing. And of course, going back to the rate of change, I think, I'm trying to remember who says this, but the skills that got us there aren't the skills that are going to get us where we need to go. So, we as individuals, but also as teams and institutions have to be constantly retooling in terms of our knowledge, but also even of our understanding of the landscape as it's changing. And then, of course, in terms of our equipment and software and all those more tactile things that are impacting the work that we do. So, when we think about change, it happens on three levels. The work itself changes, of course. The workplace, however, is also changing in terms of now we're really in a hybrid environment. And many of us, that's a different workplace for us. And then, of course, the worker or the workforce is changing. We've got a lot of folks who are aging out. We have a little bit of a demographic drought. So all of those things can be drivers. The change in the workforce, the change in the work itself, and the change in the workplace all can be drivers for us to continuously innovate, to make things better, to make things leaner, more efficient, and also more enriching.
I would have to totally agree with that. I think continually looking for those places to add value is a great way to sort of outline that idea. And it really, you're right, everything changes at such a rapid pace that if you're not constantly looking for those things, you can get left behind pretty easily. So,
yes.
Jennifer, we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Because you're a great example of somebody who continuously improves your skills. And recently, you made a post publicly, which was great, that you became a board-certified health and wellness coach. And that's pretty cool. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So the health and wellness coach role is kind of a new role in the world of health and wellness. What we've found is that the typical concept of the physician saying, you need to do this, and then expecting the patient or the client or the customer to go and do it has failed us miserably. So at least in the modern world, we have gotten fatter, sicker, and everything's become more expensive for us. So what we go back to and what research is starting to show us is that the science of behavior change is really, really important when we take a look at the things that we want to engage or add to or change about our own health and wellness. So basically, health and wellness, certified health and wellness professionals are very well trained, of course, in the principles of health and wellness, but more importantly, and this is what makes them unique, is that they're trained in the science of behavior change. So we start with motivational interviewing and really the trans-theoretical model of change, which identifies, where we are on the spectrum of, if somebody tells me if I'm a smoker that I've got to quit smoking, if I really love smoking, that may not happen, but what are some changes that we can do, or what are some things that might compel me to start thinking about making that change? So from a great vision and values perspective, it really aligns with just who I am and what I believe, and what I love to share for people to see everyone do better, to be well. Ultimately, at the end of the day, everyone has a vision and values for themselves. And whatever we can do to align our behaviors and even our thoughts to that vision and values is going to make us all better. So, it's kind of like a healthier world, one conversation at a time is where I see myself in that space.
That's a great explanation, and I think it's a great vision, actually. So how did you actually do it? I mean, what did you have to do to get your certification?
So there are many ways in which to do it. I'm a big fan of the face-to-face learning. So I actually attended a face-to-face year-long program that prepares you to sit for the national exam. And we spend a lot of time, of course, understanding the theory behind it, of course, understanding the biometrics piece behind the health and wellness. And then you spend a lot of time actually in practice in that coaching conversation. I'd say I probably did a lot more work unlearning bad habits of conversation and coaching, just as much unlearning as I do learning and practicing. And then there are many steps you have to jump through to be able to sit for the national exam. So sat for the national exam and everything came out as hoped. But right now in North Carolina, there are 3 programs that are approved by the National Board of Medical Examiners for the health and wellness coach. And that's one at UNCG, one at Duke University, and another at Randolph Community College, which is based on the Duke program.
Oh, excellent. Gosh, that's really interesting model, and actually can really see how it can apply just generally. I mean, specifically, I'm sure it could apply in the sense that, a person could be actually coaching people, but at the same time, I think just for better lifestyle, better wellness, and also healthy conversations, right? And I mean healthy physically, but also mentally. I mean,
Yeah.
and this is a very important skill to have in today's environment. So congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, the skills definitely go across, they don't sit in the silo of only having a health and wellness conversation. It certainly helps in just any conversation in general. What can I do to ask better questions to get to the heart of where we really want to go with things? Spending more time focused on what is and what could be rather than what used to be. And looking backwards. So, again, looking forward, acknowledging where we are in the present, and then building on existing strengths. That's a great foundation for any conversation, not just a health and wellness conversation. So when you come at interaction with that approach, it's really interesting how things just kind of open up very naturally that way.
Well, Sean, I think that we've had a great conversation with Jennifer today. Jennifer, we want to thank you for joining us at SciTech. And, this is, Sean, this is really different from what we normally do, right? We usually have some biotech expert on or something like that. But I think that this kind of really is a kind of a life sciences biotech type conversation that we've ended with today. So it's very enriching. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us today. Do you have any other comments or points that you wanted to get across?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't just say move more. That's my, I'm just going to leave everyone with that. Everybody, we can just move a little bit more.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you very much for joining us. Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you so much.
Everything you do at the college is so vital to our success and to our students' success. So thank you very much for everything.
Thank you. And I'm so grateful for both of you and the impact that you all have for our students and for our college as well. Thank you.